Hello and welcome to Tracy Mommy Reads. Today on the channel, I am going to be doing something a little different. I started thinking, I have read so many books throughout my lifetime, right? And probably a lot of books that I would never get the opportunity to mention on the channel because I read books currently and then I do current reviews. So unless I did some type of special episode to kind of highlight those titles, hint, hint, which is what I'm going to be doing today, then you'd never know, about maybe some of the books that I read. And some of the books, maybe books that you've never heard of, or books that you may be interested in reading, or maybe you have read them. And if so, I'd love to know in the comments once the video concludes. But what the tag, I guess it was, that I saw online, it was book titles A through Z that you've read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the alphabet into two parts because I don't want this to, end up being a 30-minute, hour-long video. So today I'm going to tackle A through M, and then in part two, we'll do the rest of the alphabet. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and titles with, each of the alphabets, just books that I've actually read. And again, disclaimer, I will say it again, I know I've said it ad nauseum. I typically do not talk about books that I read that I did not like. What is the point? If someone asks me like, hey, did you read, such and such book and I read it and I didn't like it. I would probably share that with the person. If they say, hey, I read, this book. What did you think about it? Or I didn't like it, or I liked it. What did you think? Then I'll give my opinion. But to just actually take the time out to sit up and critique a book I didn't like, I don't see the point in that. I want to share books that I enjoyed, that I think other people will enjoy. So all the books that I talk about on this channel are books that I have actually read and enjoyed, okay? So let me get my notes over here so that we can get started. Okay, first up, the letter A. And I don't know, maybe this is a cheat, but I have this book and it's a collection and it's Aesop's Fables. And for those of you who don't know, Aesop was a Greek, I guess they call him fabulist or fabulist. A fable is a story that has a lesson or a moral to it, right? With these two maybe competing ideologies, and then at the end it kind of tells you, like, you've probably heard stuff like the early bird gets the worm, and maybe didn't even know where that particular saying came from. There are many more that are kind of slipping my mind right now, but like I know one of the more famous ones is like the ant and the grasshopper and the tortoise and the hare, and it's just stories where he shows how where things like patience and consistency and things like that kind of win in the end. So Aesop's Fables, that's A. B is Behold the Dreamers by Mbue. I'm so sorry. I know me and these authors name some of them, but Behold the Dreamers is the name of the book. And it just tells a tale of immigrant who is trying to become an American citizen and kind of the ups and downs that he goes through. And then, the revelation that he has about the so-called American dream. C, Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, which has since been made a movie, and I haven't seen the movie. And I know it's like available now on streaming services. I don't know. I'm the type of person, there's only been a handful of books that I, have felt like, oh yeah, I would, want to see that when it comes out. And that wasn't one of them for some reason, but I think I may give it a try. The book itself, was huge and I really enjoyed it. Like the opulence and extravagance and just the lifestyles of the people in the book. There was a lot of humor, a lot of generational issues and things like that. It was a really good book. Crazy Rich Asians. C. D, Defending Jacob by William Landay. Now, this book I actually had in my library and had started reading it and didn't even know that they were going to be making a series. There was a series on Apple TV. I think it's Apple TV, Apple Plus. I don't know what their streaming service is called. And I did actually see it. And I thought it played close to the book. But the book, of course, there's a lot more detail authors can provide in books. So like the ending of that book, oh my God. And it basically, this kid ends up dying in the book and another kid is blamed. But the twist is like his dad is an attorney, and it's like, I think he has to kind of defend his son, or he has some of his friends helping defend his son. But yeah, that one was pretty good. E. um Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. NG is her last name. She's also the author of Little Fires Everywhere, but Everything I Never Told You. This is yet another book about generational curses, trauma, or however you want to look at it. And it's a recollection of life by this woman, after her, or is it the dad? Oh, see, some of these books, it's been so long, but something happens to their daughter, and they kind of recollect how they came to the point where their daughter would have even been in a situation like that, and maybe the part that they may have played in it. F. Four of a Kind by Valerie Frankel. This was a cute story. It's about a group of moms that meet at a school. I don't know if they were in the PTA or the drop off, but they all play cards, right? And they form a little tight knit group or club where they play cards and kind of talk about, their struggles and ups and downs of parenting, and kind of losing themselves in that whole journey. G. The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown. I love Brene Brown. She provides a lot of insight in her book. This is a nonfiction book, and as the title implies, she just kind of explores, in a society where we try to be so perfect, or we, as people, when we try to do things and have the perfect outcomes, how we miss out on, lessons that life is trying to teach us. And so when you think about the gifts that you receive from being imperfect, yeah, it was a really good read. Gives you a lot of food for thought. H. How Hard Can It Be by Allison Pearson. How Hard Can It Be? Allison Pearson. This book was so timely. I read it a few years ago. I'm coming up on my 52nd birthday, and so I guess I hadn't turned 50 when I read it. But the book is about this woman. She has 2 kids, and she's going through premenopause, and it's just like how her life is starting to kind of spiral like out of control because of hormones and things like that. But also she has this aha moment about, is she even really living the life that she wants, or has she just been living a life for other people? And so it's just kind of a story of self-discovery, using a change of life as like a plot mechanism. In the Bag by Kate Klein. This was a cute little book. Fun fact, I picked this up from the dollar store, many, many moons ago. And it's a cute little romance book. This woman and her daughter are traveling somewhere, and this man and his son, or maybe vice versa, maybe a woman and her son and a man and his daughter. I don't remember that detail, but I do know that they were traveling with their children. They're both single, and they're like, their bags somehow got mixed up, right? Their suitcases at the airport. So most of the story is kind of spent with them trying to meet up to get these bags back to the rightful owners. And, they kind of get to talking, and a romance ensues. So it's a little meet cute type situation. Very, very cute book. J. The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. And I know that this is more of a children's or YA book, but it is such a classic story. And this is one that I actually saw the movie and thought they did a really good job. As you know, it's the story of Mowgli and how he is raised by wolves and kind of learns to survive in the jungle, and has a best friend, the bear named Baloo. And, just how, regardless to your circumstances, it's kind of like the ultimate test of nurture versus nature. I think that's how you say it. And how he survives, with a species different from his own. K. The Kite Runner by Khalid Hosseini. I think I'm saying that right, or probably not. But anyway, this was another book I read long time ago, like not too long after it came out. A coworker had let me borrow her copy of the book, and it kind of chronicles the life of a man who starts over in America, and he kind of goes through life, what life was like for him in the country where he was born, in Afghanistan. And there's a lot of tension and drama, and there were these kite races that they would have, and that's kind of what the title alludes to. But from what I can remember, that was a really good book. Another book that they have also made into a movie that I have not seen, I'm gonna do a cheat on this one. Love or Something Like That by me, Tracy Mommy. This is actually one of my favorite books that I have written. It is like 3 interconnected novellas, and I like kind of read it or reread it. You know, a lot of times I don't go back and read my own work, because as an author, you find, like, if you find an error or you think, oh, I should have ended it this way, oh, I shouldn't have had him say, you know, it's too stressful. Once I like put it out in the world, I normally don't even go back and look at my books. But I really like the concept and the way that I executed that story. And when I read it, I feel transported. It's like I didn't even write the story. And I think that I'm going to be doing more stories like that. I like telling shorter stories and kind of getting to the action quicker. So if you haven't checked out Love or Something Like That, do so. My Sister the Serial Killer. And watch me kill this person's name. Okay. Or Yinkan Braithwaite. I'm not even going to try to say it again. Y'all see the title. Y'all see the book. This book, oh my God. Just as the title alludes to, this woman, her sister, she's like killing these men that she ends up dating. And then, you know, she calls her sister to kind of help her clean up the scene. And the story kind of talks about, again, generational issues, generational traumas, and like why her sister has such a knee-jerk and trigger reaction to relationships when things start, you know, going awry, or she feels like she's being threatened or in trouble. Why her first instinct is always to maim or destroy, you know, these men that she's involved with. To me, I was more like kind of fascinated by why is her sister helping her with this instead of turning her in. So that was a really good one to kind of get into, kind of cerebral type thing. So yeah, so that is the end of part 1, A through M. And like I said, hopefully there's some titles you hadn't heard of that maybe now you're interested in going to check out. Or if you have read any of the books, let me know in the comments, like which books have you read and what did you think about them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure that you like this video and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Really don't know what you're waiting on. You guys have a great weekend, and I will be back next week with part 2 of the alphabet. Bye.